TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donation. Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu asserts that the United States and Israel are crushing the Ayatollah regime in Iran. IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir stresses that the weaker the Ayatollah regime becomes, its terror proxies in the region weaken as well. U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth proclaims the Ayatollah regime in Iran is losing the war. The United States and Israel are crushing the tyrannical Ayatollah regime in Iran, with the terror regime's military arms essentially combat ineffective. Speaking in a televised address to the nation, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu amplified the unprecedented partnership between the United States and Israel that have achieved enormous accomplishments and have altered the balance of power in the Middle East.
We are in historic days, days that will be recorded in the annals of Israel. In Operation Roaring Lion, our roar is growing stronger. We are crushing the terrorist regime in Iran. We are striking and crushing its proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon. Through an unprecedented partnership between Israel and the United States, we have achieved enormous accomplishments that are changing the balance of power in the Middle East and beyond. These achievements are establishing Israel's status as a power that is stronger than ever. This dramatic shift in our power relative to the power of our enemies is the key to ensuring our existence. Threats come and go, but when we become a regional power, and in certain fields a global power, we have the strength to push dangers away from us and secure our future.
Prime Minister Netanyahu continued by asserting that the long-time evil schemes of the terror regime in Iran, for which its tentacles prepared multiple contingencies for several decades, have essentially plunged into an abrupt end.
In 1993, I published a newspaper article and I wrote, "The greatest danger to Israel's existence is not found in the Arab states, it is found in Iran." Since then, for over 30 years, the murderous regime of the Ayatollahs has indeed acted to harm the United States and the West, but first and foremost, it acted to advance its plan for the destruction of Israel. It did so on three levels. First, it built an axis of evil with terrorist armies of Hezbollah, Hamas, the Houthis, the Assad regime, and others. The second level, it worked to establish an array of tens of thousands of lethal ballistic missiles. And the third level, it worked to develop nuclear bombs with the declared goal of wiping us off the face of the earth. Well, it will not do so.
The Israeli Prime Minister further underscored the fatal mistake Ayatollah Ali Khamenei had made when he failed to accommodate President Donald Trump's demands.
Following Operation Rising Lion, President Trump and I warned the tyrant Khamenei. We told him, if you try to rebuild your industries of death, we will strike you with a force you have never known. Not only did he not listen to us, he began an accelerated action to restore the nuclear and missile programs, and this time to hide them deep, deep underground, under high mountains. If we had not acted immediately, within a few months Iran's death industry would have been immune to any strike. Therefore, we set out together on a campaign, the United States and Israel, to continue what we did in Rising Lion, to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, and to prevent Iran from developing ballistic missiles that would threaten Israel, the U.S., and the entire world. This is our goal.
Netanyahu went on to highlight some of the major achievements of the war, which he stressed will ultimately bring about the necessary circumstances for the Iranian people to regain their much-aspired liberty.
We eliminated the enemy Khamenei and many senior officials in the terrorist regime. We eliminated the old tyrant, and the new tyrant, Mojtaba, the puppet of the Revolutionary Guards, cannot show his face in public. We are crushing the nuclear infrastructure, the missile and launcher array, the headquarters of oppression, the regime's power centers, and many more targets. And simultaneously, we are acting to promote another goal, to create the conditions for the Iranian people so they can remove the cruel regime of tyranny that has ruled them for nearly half a century. We are landing crushing blows on the Revolutionary Guards and the Basij both in the streets and at checkpoints, and we are still active. I say to the Iranian people, the moment when you can embark on a new path of freedom, that moment is approaching. We stand by you, we are helping you. But at the end of the day, it depends on you. It is in your hands.
Meanwhile, IDF spokesman Brigadier General Efi Defrin highlighted that the war against the Iranian proxy Hezbollah in Lebanon is intensifying.
Our fight against Hezbollah is intensifying. Hezbollah is fighting for its survival, and it is fighting for its master in Iran. It is fighting to preserve its capabilities, and we are fighting to disarm it. We will not compromise on this demand. We have a systematic plan, and we are attacking all of its terrorist networks, thickening the northern border with a strong frontal defense, and evaluating the Lebanese population for its own security. Over 1 million Lebanese citizens have been evaluated, both from southern Lebanon and also from Dahia in Beirut. In the last 24 hours alone, we have attacked over 20 Hezbollah missile launchers aimed at Israeli territory and more than 20 terror towers in Dahia in the heart of Beirut. So far, we have attacked nearly 1,000 terrorist infrastructures throughout Lebanon. In addition, since the beginning of the operation, we have eliminated more than 350 terrorists, dozens of them just last night. We recognize that many of the terrorists are trying to escape to areas outside of Dahia in Beirut. We will locate them and attack them everywhere.
As part of the war against Hezbollah and after the terror group's leadership was comprehensively eliminated in the previous round of fighting, to include the Beeper operation among others, the IDF has successfully eliminated the Iranian commanders that have been sent to lead Hezbollah in their rocket-fire salvos against Israel.
In a secret nighttime meeting, we eliminated the commander of the Imam Hussein division and his deputy, along with many of the division's officers. This is an Iranian division of the Revolutionary Guards whose job is to attack Israel from Lebanese territory. For years, we have been trying to locate and eliminate them. Last night, while they were conducting fire on Israel, they were eliminated within seconds. This is an important achievement. We eliminated dozens of terrorists and struck many targets in the Dahia neighborhood, in Beirut, and beyond. The air defense system was on the highest level of alert and intercepted the vast majority of the fire that was launched at our territory. Hezbollah is paying the price for joining the campaign.
IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Eyal Zamir, who visited Northern Command and received a comprehensive situational assessment, continued by highlighting that the IDF remains focused on further degrading the terrorist Ayatollah regime in Iran, since its demise will undoubtedly weaken all of its terror axis across the region.
We are focused and operate with much force against the terror regime in Iran. Severely harming Iran effectively means severely harming its proxies and the entire axis of evil.
Meanwhile, in Washington, U.S. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth announced during a Pentagon briefing earlier today that the United States is effectively decimating the radical Iranian regime military in a way the world has never seen before.
I'll start, as we often do here at the Department of War, with the bottom line up front. For the world to hear and the press to actually admit that the United States is decimating the radical Iranian regime's military in a way the world has never seen before. Never before has a modern, capable military, which Iran used to have, been so quickly destroyed and made combat ineffective, devastated. We said it would not be a fair fight, and it has not been. As I stated during our first press conference on day 2, that was 10 short days ago, The combination of the world's two most powerful air forces is unprecedented and unbeatable. Between our Air Force and that of the Israelis, over 15,000 enemy targets have been struck. That's well over 1,000 a day. No other combination of countries in the world can do that. So today, as we speak, we fly over the top of Iran and Tehran. Fighters and bombers all day picking targets as they choose. As our intelligence gets better and better and more refined. Looking up, the IRGC and Iranian regime sees only two things on the side of aircraft: the stars and stripes and the Star of David. The evil regime's worst nightmare.
Secretary Hegseth continued by highlighting the dire situation in which the terror regime is currently finding itself in Tehran.
But it's not just that Iran doesn't have a functioning air force, or that their entire navy is at the bottom of the Persian Gulf, or their missile force is shrinking daily. Even more importantly, they also don't have the ability to build more. That's the most important component I'd like to emphasize today. Soon and very soon, all of Iran's defense companies will be destroyed. For example, as of 2 days ago, Iran's entire ballistic missile production capacity, every company that builds every component of those missiles, has been functionally defeated, destroyed. Buildings, complexes, and factory lines all across Iran destroyed. So we're shooting down and destroying what missiles they still have in stock, but more importantly, ensuring that they have no ability to make more. Their production lines, their military plants, their defense innovation centers defeated. Iran's leadership is in no better shape. Desperate and hiding, they've gone underground, cowering. That's what rats do. We know the new so-called not-so-supreme leader is wounded and likely disfigured. He put out a statement yesterday, a weak one, actually, but there was no voice and there was no video. It was a written statement. He called for unity. Apparently killing tens of thousands of protesters is his kind of unity. Iran has plenty of cameras and plenty of voice recorders. Why a written statement? I think you know why. His father, dead. He's scared, he's injured, he's on the run, and he lacks legitimacy. It's a mess for them. Who's in charge? Iran may not even know. With every passing hour, we know, and we know they know, that the military capabilities of their evil regime are crumbling. They can barely communicate, let alone coordinate. They're confused, and we know it. Our response? We will keep pressing. We will keep pushing, keep advancing. No quarter, no mercy for our enemies.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible by the generosity of our viewers. Please keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem and the redemption of Israel. I'm Jonathan Essen wishing you a Shabbat Shalom, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.